Welcome to Daily Chronicles, your journey through time. Every day carries a story, from world-changing events to moments pop culture will never forget. We uncover the triumphs, tragedies, and turning points that shaped our world. This is Daily Chronicles, where every day tells its tale. It is November 7th, 1944. America stands at a crossroads of history. The nation is weary from years of war, yet its spirit remains unbroken. Factories hum through the night, turning out tanks, ships, and planes for a global fight that has stretched across every ocean and continent. Ration books are clutched in calloused hands, sons are far from home, and victory, though within sight, feels like a distant dream. On this day, as ballots are cast from coast to coast, one man once again captures the trust of a nation. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. For the fourth time, the American people choose him as their leader, defying every precedent set since the birth of the Republic. His opponent, the sharp and ambitious New York Governor Thomas E. Dewey, campaigns on change, on youthful vigor, and on ending what critics call 12 long years of Roosevelt rule. But to millions of Americans, Roosevelt is more than a president. He is the steady voice that carried them through the Great Depression, the familiar face that guided them through Pearl Harbor, and now, the captain steering the ship of state through the storm of World War. As the results trickle in late into the night, the numbers tell a story of loyalty and endurance. Roosevelt secures 432 electoral votes to Dewey's 99, a resounding victory that echoes across a divided world. Yet beneath the celebration, there is fatigue. The president himself is visibly frail, his health declining, his once booming voice softer now, tempered by years of unrelenting duty. Still, the people have spoken. In Roosevelt, they see the embodiment of continuity, of reassurance, of victory still to come. He will never see the peace he promises. Within months of taking office for his fourth term, he will be gone. But on this night, he stands as the only American ever elected 4 times to the presidency, an achievement that both cements his legend and forever changes the nation's political landscape. His triumph symbolizes more than personal success. It reflects the unity of a people who, amid sacrifice and uncertainty, cling to stability and faith. The world watches as democracy itself, tested by war and fear, proves resilient. Across the Atlantic, Churchill congratulates him. Stalin notes the result with cautious respect. The Allies, bound by necessity and trust, see Roosevelt's re-election as a promise of continuity until final victory. In the small towns of America, factory whistles blow, soldiers listen on crackling radios, and the nation exhales. For all its burdens, for all its wounds, the United States chooses familiarity over change, endurance over risk. And so, on this night in 1944, Franklin D. Roosevelt becomes both symbol and man. An enduring reminder that leadership, in times of darkness, can shape the destiny not just of a country, but of the entire free world. The room was too bright for what was about to die. Los Angeles, 1991. Photographers leaned forward as if proximity might protect them from what they were about to hear. A man who had defined motion, grace, and control stood behind a microphone and dismantled the idea of invincibility. "Because of the HIV virus that I have attained," he said, "I will have to retire from the Lakers today." The silence that followed was the first sound of fear learning how to breathe. The forensic replay begins with 3 clean incisions. The first cut, shock. Magic Johnson, 5-time NBA champion, Finals MVP, captain of Showtime, the living symbol of health and joy. He wasn't supposed to bleed. His announcement detonated through every television set on Earth. That night, parents explained disease to their children for the first time. The myth of athletic immortality was declared mortal, the second cut, stigma. In 1991, HIV was still whispered as a death sentence, a moral verdict, a rumor wrapped in shame. Headlines blurred science with suspicion. Teammates hugged him on camera but disinfected their fear off stage. Athletes refused to share towels. One even suggested he might infect others through sweat. The world's most beloved smile had become a battlefield between ignorance and empathy. The third cut, control. Within hours, Johnson was forced into retirement, not by choice, but by contagion's reputation. Doctors advised it. The league encouraged it. Sponsors hid. A single number exposed the magnitude. 50,000 hotline calls in 24 hours after his announcement. Panic measured in voices. Yet through the hysteria, one image refused to vanish. A man standing upright, dignified, alive. The archives later tried to erase a sentence from an internal NBA memo. He will not survive the season. Prepare a tribute. The line was deleted, but paper remembers pressure. The living wound has never fully closed. Every player tested for HIV, every public figure forced to reveal private blood, still moves through the shadow he illuminated. The daily reflex endures, in locker rooms, clinics, and conversations about risk. Awareness has replaced fear, but fear never disappears completely. It mutates. Each time a celebrity discloses illness, the ghost of that press conference flickers again. Magic Johnson lived. That fact alone rewrote medicine, celebrity, and myth. He turned exile into education, diagnosis into defiance. The drugs that once meant delay now mean decades. And he walks among us as proof that survival can be louder than applause. He was supposed to vanish. Instead, he endured. And in the echo of that announcement, the world learned the cost of misunderstanding and the quiet power of refusing to die on schedule. The faint hiss of static gives way to swelling strings, and living rooms across America fill with the lush, thunderous overture of a story that once defined Hollywood's golden dream. Curtains of cigarette smoke drift through the air as families lean closer to glowing screens, the technicolor radiance of Scarlett O'Hara's world bursting into their homes for the very first time. The flicker of light dances across faces, mothers remembering matinee showings, fathers mouthing lines they once heard in darkened theaters, children meeting these ghosts of cinema history without yet knowing the weight of what they see. The grand plantation of Tara unfurls like a painted memory, and Vivian Lee's emerald eyes shimmer with defiance and heartbreak, her voice trembling between vanity and survival. Clark Gable's rugged charm glints under the studio lights, his smirk still a weapon sharper than any saber. The grandeur of the Old South, romanticized and mythologized, takes shape again, its beauty and tragedy intertwined in a spectacle that television has never dared to contain. Until now. NBC transforms a quiet evening into a nationwide seance, resurrecting the Civil War's cinematic phantoms for a new generation. The orchestral score swells like thunder over the airwaves, and in small apartments and suburban dens, viewers feel the tug of nostalgia and controversy alike. The film's 4-hour sprawl demands patience, its intermissions testing the endurance of modern audiences used to commercials and half-hour comforts. Yet the magnetism of its drama remains unbroken, each frame glowing with the craftsmanship of a vanished Hollywood, a place of colossal sets, impossible beauty, and unyielding illusion. As the wind ripples through magnolia trees, the television screen becomes a time portal, its signal carrying not just a story, but the echo of a nation wrestling with its identity. The glamour of Lee's costumes, the stubborn nobility in Gable's drawl, the sweeping battle scenes that once drew gasps now elicit awe mixed with uneasy reflection. Old myths are replayed, their power both diminished and magnified by the intimacy of home viewing. Some watchers wipe away tears as Rhett Butler walks out into the mist. Others notice the shadows of history that hang heavier now than they did in the gilded theaters of the past. Critics and cultural commentators tune in, too, aware that this moment is more than a broadcast. It is a convergence of art, memory, and media evolution. The film that once required projectionists and reel changes now hums through wires and antennas, reaching millions at once. It is not merely entertainment, it is an event, a collective heartbeat across the continent, uniting generations in shared wonder. When the closing credits roll and the music fades, there is a silence that feels almost sacred, as if something vast and glittering has passed through the nation and left a trace of its light behind. The magic of cinema has entered the living room, and television will never feel quite the same again.